What you are viewing is the valley of the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch. On today's journey, we will venture into the valley, walking to the top of the valley, then turning around to walk to the bottom of the valley of the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch. And as we do, I'm going to ask you, as always, to get my 6. Here's the significance of the valley of the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch. As we watch for movement, listen for sounds. Approximately 3 weeks ago, I discovered what I've since referred to as the lair of Bigfoot, where we found many mysteries. Many of you watching this video has seen the video to which I'm referring. You saw what could not be explained. Ironically, between the 17-minute and 30-second mark and 17-minute and 40-second mark. I say ironic because in yesterday's video, which was made a considerable distance away from this video, as far as locations go, at the 7-minute and 30-second to 7-minute and 40-second mark, it appeared as if a strange creature had jumped the creek to follow me in my travels. I will put both videos at the end of this video so you can see for yourselves. Please excuse my runny nose and my slightly slurred speech, as my nose and lips are both freezing. It is 22 degrees Fahrenheit right now as I make this video. At about 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's start up the valley. And again, continue to get my 6 and let me know if we're being followed. So, why this valley? Why now? Why when it's so cold? Number one, as far as temperature goes, it's for clarity. If you've been following the saga for a while, you know that I now record in HD, high definition 1080. But also on these frigidly cold, crisp mornings, there's no humidity in the air. There's no smog, no fog. Of course, I live out in the Blue Ridge Mountains. There's none of that anyway, but we can see even more clearly and even farther. However, it does cause my hands to shake a bit because I can't wear gloves and hold my phone at the same time. So we'll stop periodically. There's a bent tree back there. Oh, yeah. But there's more to it than that. The last video I made from up here in the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch lair was about 5 days ago. It's when I was deep into the lair and I was rambling on about the various personality types of folks you'll meet in America, in this book I'm working on. And on the way out, I came through this valley. I decided to drop over to the other side of the hill from the other side of the lair. Keep your eye on it. To further understand this entire mountaintop here above my home. And I felt as if I was followed all the way through this valley. It was as if he, she, it, or they post centuries in this valley that leads up to their lair. And those sentries may or may not follow all travelers into and out of this valley. So we're just walking around, seeing what, if anything, we might see or hear or smell in the valley. So I've traveled a bit further up the valley with my hands in my pockets. I've come upon another series of boulders, which is common here in the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch lair. So we've stopped to observe for a minute, and we're going to use one of my famed research techniques. I am not going to look in the phone to get my background. You are going to watch for me. What I will do in an attempt to lure them in is I will recite a poem that I wrote just yesterday. It's called The Most Beautiful November I Remember. And as you can see, even the title rhymes. There are those who think of me as merely a novelist, and yet there are others who think of me as merely an essayist. This will prove to both that if I so choose to be, I can also be a pretty good poetist. The most beautiful November I remember. This is the most beautiful November I remember. As you can see by the backdrop, it is very beautiful. And I do remember this is November. I hope that in future years going forward, I will always remember this November, because this is the most beautiful November I remember. If your eyes are welled up with tears right now, don't hold them back. Let them fall. Let them fall like these leaves that surround us. Even you big, strong men out there. When you get hit in the heart with poeticism like that, it's only natural to cry. Let it out. I'll look away. This is a bit odd, or it could just be that I wasn't paying very close attention when I was in this valley the other day. There's a beautiful stream here, quite sizable. I don't know if you can tell from the angle of the camera, but there's some holes of water in it that are, considerably deep. I mean, I don't know if there's any native brook trout in here or not, but some of these holes are deep. And something really weird. It's like it was 22 degrees, but it's kind of warm here. I guess like temperature changes around water. I always kind of thought it was colder, at least this time of year, but it seems like it's almost hot here. Like the temperature increased by 10 or 15 degrees, but maybe it's just because it's warming up. I mean, it's probably close to 9 a.m. But I just get a creepy feeling here. I think I'm going to keep moving. Hold on a second. Well, I don't know what that was all about, but we're almost to the top of the valley now, and I do feel as if we're being watched, and I see what appears to be a cave. Guys, get my 6. And it's cold again. I'm going to go back 45 degrees. And as I thought, it's now gone. rewind from here about 20 or 30 seconds. Let's go up and check out that cave. It could just be an overhang, but let's take a closer inspection. Okay guys, I'm recording with the camera backward for just a second here because I want to be able to zoom. This is the area in question. It looks like either a cave or just a big overhang from a giant boulder, but here in the last segment, and I won't know for sure until I go back and review it, it appeared as if I saw someone or something up here. And we looked over here. Well, there's a distinct tree bend right down here below this boulder, which may be a cave or a overhang. But then when I pan back around, it was gone. So let's go up there and take a look. Okay guys, we're even closer. We can see it more clearly now. But I wanted to take a second to survey the area because I noticed yet another tree bend, and this one is quite impressive. It's a healthy oak. It's almost as if he, she, it, or they wanted to do a tree break, but the tree was too green to break. So we can go up towards the top and you see there's no other tree on it. This was not a cause of the... There's something up there. What is that? Let's get even closer. Okay guys, I've climbed up the rest of the steep hill and I found our overhang. It's not a cave, it's an overhang. But guys, this is weird, this is creepy. I'm going to flip the phone around and show you what I found, okay? Okay, first I want to show you the beautiful view of the valley. We just walked up from this vantage point up here at this giant boulder. Keep your eyes open for anything down there. I think what may have been up here as we were making our way up the hill, something that I think was watching us down there at the creek, where I felt a bit nauseous and dizzy, and well, anyway, I think one of the sentries had his, her, it, or their eyes on us. But I'm going to turn around here and show you the overhang. Here's the giant boulder. Here's the overhang. Now here's what I thought at first was curious. All these sticks. As you can see, here's the end of my walking stick I always carry with me. And there's my water bottle. I put it down so I could sit here for this video. I'm very steep grade. But this boulder comes out 4 or 5 feet from the surface underneath it, and piles of sticks like this, let me zoom in, stacked like kindling or firewood, do not fall uphill. They don't fall around rock covers and get swept up by the wind underneath. Something or somebody had to put these sticks under here. So as I was looking at the sticks, I noticed something else. This is the farthest I've been up in here. I'm easing up in here. Look at this. Let me zoom in. You see that? That is some kind of animal fur. I'm leery to touch it, but I'm going to. See, I'm zoomed in big time. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see my hand. I am underneath the overhang now. I hope nothing bites me. But what do we have here? I know my wildlife pretty good. That's the end of a squirrel's tail, it appears to be. So we've got the end of a squirrel's tail. And guys, I don't hunt. Okay, I used to. I grew up hunting. I just don't do it anymore. I laid the sword down on a different continent years ago and vowed to never take it up again against any living creature. That's just me. I'm not opposed to hunting. I'm not judging hunters. I'm all for it, actually. I support it as long as it's done responsibly, legally, all these things. I'm saying this because I didn't shoot a gray squirrel while out hunting yesterday and bring the tail up. And look at these sticks. They've been here a while because there's some leaves over top of them. Thought I heard something over there. Oh, God, I just got dizzy again. Guys, I don't think we're alone up here. I think it might be time to walk back down the valley of the potential of the Bigfoot Sasquatch to the safety of my vehicle. Okay guys, I'm about 25 yards down the hill from that overhang where we found those gathered sticks, what appeared to be gathered sticks, and the end of a gray squirrel's tail. Being kept under a place. When I was underneath there, I had the camera turned around the other way so you couldn't really tell, but when I was under there showing you the squirrel's tail and the sticks, my entire body was very much underneath that overhang. Had it been raining, had it been snowing, had there been heavy winds, and had I needed to take shelter, that overhang was certainly big enough to protect not only me, but probably another 2 guys my size. And I'm not a big guy. I'm like the average adult American male, 5'9", 5'10", 170, 175 pounds. Something 2 to 3 times my size easily could fit under there in a snowstorm, in a rainstorm. I'm not saying it's any sort of permanent residence, but it could certainly be used as a temporary shelter. Oh. Let's head towards the car. So we're heading back down the valley now. I've made my way off the mountain, heading back down the valley. We're not out of the woods yet, but I do feel a lot more comfortable down here. Away from that stream and away from that strange overhang. Oh. Guys, here's some words of advice when you're out in the woods and you're exploring territories. If you like to do the crazy stuff I do it, the same way you would eat an elephant, a bite at a time. It's possible I could walk for days in my area behind my house alone and not see any other houses or roads. It's a big area. So these little adventures we take, we're doing them piecemeal. I will go into an area for just a little bit of a way, become familiar with it, know my way in, know my way out. And then the next time I'll go in a little further, then a little further, make sure I know my way in, I know my way out. It is so easy to get lost in the woods. And it's so easy to just get disoriented, especially where strange things happen. And I'm telling you, the older I get, the more time I spend in the woods, and I grew up in the woods. Not afraid of the woods. It's funny, I love the comments on my channel when people say, oh, you can tell he's a city boy. Go back to the city boy. What city is that? Sure, I've lived in some. I've lived in cities that have 26 million people in them for short periods of time, 6 months at the longest. But I grew up in the mountains, I grew up in the woods, and I'm telling you, I'm not scared of them. I never have been. But the older I get, my point is this, the older I get, the less I am convinced that I know exactly everything that's out here. I used to think it was deer and squirrels and turkeys and walnuts. But what is it that takes the walnuts? and relocates them? What is it that takes the ends of gray squirrel tails and hides them on top of firewood piles under overhangs? Perhaps in time, we'll know the answers to these questions. Hope you're here with me when we discover those answers. So thanks for being with me for another episode of the PBS the potential Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Wow, look at that. Bend, tall TPX. Show.